all things Halloween. This is Hauntformer, and I'm going to stop speaking in a monotone voice because that's boring. Welcome back to a video that a lot of you have been waiting for a while. I'm going to be talking about the Morris Costumes 2020 animatronics that I missed because I unfortunately was kind of a bozo clown and didn't go to HauntCon this year, which I'm still bummed about. It hurt really bad. But I still wanted to cover a lot of the things that were at that show that you will most definitely see in the Halloween world, especially as Halloween approaches with less than 200 days until the big day. We're going to be taking a look at the Morris Costumes YouTube channel and talking about all of their new creations. And there is at least one that isn't on their YouTube channel that I actually had to fish on YouTube to find. But I'm going to be talking about all of these and giving my thoughts on them. And I want to hear in the comments, what is your favorite of the Morris Costumes animatronics? For those of you who are not familiar, Morris Costumes is a wholesaler for Halloween retail companies, and they create a line every year of some really cool animatronics that may spark your fancy if you're into weird stuff. So we're going to go in order. I'm actually going to start with the animatronic that's on YouTube that I had to track on YouTube, which is from this YouTube channel called Halloween Eyes. So Halloween Eye, if you're watching this, I'm using your video for commentary's sake, and I want to thank you for making an awesome video. Go check this video out if you have not seen it already. But essentially, they documented the Morris and Distortions booths at HauntCon and the Halloween and Party Expo. Something I usually do for the past, 2 years, but unfortunately I couldn't make it in 2020. But this particular creature, this Phantom guy, is buffering, is brand new for 2020, although he does feature some old audio. Let me go back a little bit so you can see. Let me go back again. Of course, my Wi-Fi is buffering a tad. As you can see, he talks, he moves, and probably the most obvious interesting feature about him are those light up eyes that he has, which is really cool. The whole Phantom is kind of just a generic monster, but the eyes really make this character stand out. I would love to see these eyes used in different animatronics, possibly some zombies. The fact that they have digital things being incorporated into a physical animatronic would really make me wish for like a cool robotic Halloween prop. But with that said, this is a very cool prop that I would love to see in person to see how those eyes look, because they're just so darn creepy. But let me exit out of that video. Thank you to Halloween Eye for actually filming the expo. Now I can talk about the Morris Costumes animatronics they've put on their channel. They may add more, but these are the ones that really stood out to me.
It's lovely.
Up first, we have the Catacomb Creature.
Will never feel lonely. My bony brothers clatter and carry on. They can put up quite a racket. It is the dance of the dead down here. Come.
The face on him, I like the face. I like skeletons. I'm not quite sure if he's supposed to be like a tree with the thing. The skulls that he's holding are nice. Ultimately, I don't know. There's just not enough to him. That's just my opinion, though. I know a lot of people really like Catacomb Creature. The movement on him is probably the neatest thing, how he kind of moves and reaches out. If he was more of just a tree-like creature, I probably would have gotten into him a little more, but just because he's kind of a skeleton, just a tad uninteresting to me, but that's just my 2 cents. Moving on to some more interesting characters, the Candy Creep.
Hello there, little one.
Which is probably one of the most popular.
Come on, it's free. It's really good. I think
It's
you're
free,
going to
sir?
love it. It really packs
Ooh.
a wallop.
Well, for a second there, he sounded like Jack
I
Straw.
have some candy for you. So sickeningly sweet. I know.
Okay, the hunched back is really creepy, and the mallet that he's holding, although, I don't know, maybe I'm not very...
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any...
Maybe I'm not very mobile, but it's like an awkward position to have his hand. But you know what? Great concept. Pretty good execution. The lollipop with the mallet. Very nice. I like how he moves back and forth. Very cool. This is a great animatronic. And I like that he's not a clown. Because, frankly, if I see another clown, I'm gonna go crazy. Let's see what we have next. Another clown! But this one, just wait, this one's actually pretty good.
Here above the ground.
Oh, let me go back to the beginning.
The night air.
The Underworld Clown.
Here above the ground. But I prefer the fiery warmth down below. I'll drag your cold soul down with me for a little company and show you the warmth of my fiery pits.
Okay, he's got the signature Morris Costumes voice. I think this is a phenomenal animatronic. The stature, the pose he's in, the face, this is really good. Now, it's going to be expensive because he's probably super large. But I think he's a great premise, great character. The jaw flapping is really nice. I'm glad that this is one of the newest clowns we've gotten, because let me just be frank with you. The clowns are starting to get old to me. Just so many clowns. I just kind of move them to the side, but when I see something original like Underworld Clown here, it gives me hope, because this is a really cool prop with a really good way he's put together. So, thumbs up on Underworld Clown. Probably the best one of the bunch, in my humble opinion. Here we have Mr. Happy.
Hello. I have some delicious free candy for you kitties. Never mind that.
Which is similar to the Candy
Just
Creep.
a greedy little something that wants more.
Now again, he's made to look more like a clown, and I don't quite like him as much as Candy Creep. Also, the cage in the back, like, he's got to be super strong to carry that cage behind his back with a kid in it. But jokes aside, I don't know, he doesn't have the same appeal. Like, the way that the Candy Creep is dressed and kind of looks like an old man is more sinister than another clown with a kid in a cage. I think the kids in the cage thing is cool, but with it behind the back isn't necessarily my favorite depiction of it. So that's Mr. Happy. Here we have the Looming Ghoul.
Go ahead and enter at your own peril.
Oh, I forgot to mention there's a clown one of these too. I didn't show that in the other video, but there's a clown version of this same thing.
You don't look smart enough to take good advice. Another foolish mortal.
So yeah, this one, along with the clown one, which is not on their channel yet, are these things where you can walk underneath its legs. But I have two complaints with this. First of all, this thing better be really, really tall if you're expecting people to walk underneath its legs. And second of all, you can see the base right there. Are we supposed to walk on the base? See, like, I have a very, like, logical mind, and it just makes me think of, like, Hazard. Like, if you're in a dark haunted house and have to walk underneath this, even at the entrance, you're risking people tripping, and you could get sued. Don't get me wrong, very cool idea with the door underneath its legs. The look of the creep is great. He actually looks like the creep from Creepshow, which, please make a creep. But him and the clown, they look fine. But the premise of walking underneath there, it's just a little too risky for me. Great in theory, though, but the execution with the base could have been a tad better. And finally, last but not least, the Reaper's Ride.
Here you are. I found you at last. In disguise, no less. But don't ever think you can fool the Reaper. Come along quietly.
Which basically is like the Headless Horseman that we saw at Home Depot last year. But this is a Grim Reaper on the horse instead, and it is fog compatible. Looks great.
Harvesting your soul with my scythe.
It looks
I know that most are
very cool.
Afterlife.
To me, the props that just talk, that they're not a startle prop, they just kind of say their phrases, they work if they look good. They're more for like the introduction or a yard haunt or some creepy scene. Because in a haunted house, people are just going to walk right by it. So you have to have a presence. And thankfully, this Reaper has a presence. He's big. He's got the horse with the fog and the lighting. It looks cool. Presentation's nice. For the presentation, though, he's probably going to be the most expensive out of any of these characters. But, my goodness, sure is a spectacle to look at. And I believe that was the gauntlet of the brand new Morris Costumes items. If you want to see a video of the Distortions items, which I probably will make a separate video on, expect that soon. But thank you for watching. And again, let me know in the comments what your favorite of these animatronics was. I'll see you in the next spooky video. Stay scared. And remember, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.